Alright then, let's get to the business end of the TATA Nexon EV Max. I've been driving this car for the last 5 hours continuously. 50% of the time where I use 50% of the battery, I was driving it within the city limits, going through rush hour traffic, and Delhi being Delhi and it's quite hot this summer. We were facing ambient temperatures of anywhere between 43 to 45 degrees Celsius, even in the earlier hours of the daytime. And the AC was running on full blast. The seat ventilation was running on full blast. And I was doing anywhere between 145 watt hour per kilometer to 150 watt hour per kilometer. That translates to 15 kilowatt that is utilized for every 100 kilometers that I drive. Now that translates to anywhere between 300 to 320 kilometers of driving range within the city limits. Start, stop traffic, office time, you get the drill. Now, after I got out of the city, I went to Gulshan Dhaba in Murthal to have a spot of breakfast, and my next stop is Manesar, which is about 98 kilometers from Gulshan Dhaba. And the idea is to do this trip with utilizing the minimum amount of power that I can. Now, the engineers of Tata Motors Electric Mobility have done quite a lot of upgrades to this Nexon EV Max. For instance, there is a bigger battery pack, which is a 40.5 kilowatt an hour battery pack, now over the 30.5 kilowatt an hour battery pack that was there in the first generation. There is now a more powerful motor. It produces 143 horsepower over 120 horsepower, which was there before. It also has 20 kilometers an hour extra top speed. So it is now rated at 140 kilometers an hour for the max speed that is electronically limited. What they have also done is added a special and a very useful feature, which is an adjustable regeneration mode. Now we've got 3 levels of regeneration: level 1, level 2 and level 3. Level 1 is something which is reminiscent to the first generation's standard regeneration. Level 2 and level 3 basically is great for the city. Level 3 being the strongest regeneration mode, where one can easily drive with just one pedal and without using the brake within the city limits. It's not as strong as what I experienced in the Volvo XC40 Recharge, but it's good enough. And with this, there is also a feature where you can completely shut it off. Like what I'm doing right now, I'm on the highway, I have my regeneration completely shut off, and with this wavy format of the highway, whenever I'm going down the road, I'm using the car's momentum, which is created by this 300 kilos of extra weight, and utilize it to save about 15 to 18% of the charge. That really makes a difference. I mean, I do consider keeping it on cruise control as well most of the time, and keep the regeneration also on, but just to extract the maximum amount of energy out of that battery pack, just switch it off and just let it coast while you're going down the road. Now, adding a few more features does require quite a lot of battery power as well. This will suck in a lot of energy, like the ventilated seats, this little screen in the gear selector, which actually looks very futuristic, something out of a car from a sci-fi movie that was made to visualize how cars would be in 2050. That actually looks really nice. But all of this does require quite a lot of battery, and it will suck in a lot of energy from the battery pack, which means the range overall would be considerably lower. Now, as we go further, we've got about 90 kilometers left to reach our destination, which is quite far, honestly. We've got about 30% of battery left, and we have just 89 kilometers of range that is left with us. We're cruising at 75 kilometers an hour, and we're getting an economy of 12.4 kilowatt for every 100 kilometer, which is pretty good. Now, on the inside, the Nexon EV Max has been a great car, even in the first generation. And over here, everything is just up by a small margin. Like for instance, this console actually feels very high quality to touch, and use. The buttons are of very high quality, and they have a subtle high quality click to them. This gear selector looks brilliant. Everything is logically laid out and it's very ergonomic to use. I really truly appreciate the entire layout and the choice of materials that Tata Motors has used on this car. It really makes my daily commute very comfortable indeed. So we've done approximately 250 kilometers in totality since morning, and I'm left with a range of about 80 kilometers, which makes it a total driving range of 330 kilometers, which includes 50% of charge being used within the city limits. Now that is quite an astonishing number, because that sort of reciprocates to the fact that this car is pretty much capable of doing 400 kilometers on the highway. Probably more than that. If I'm brave enough, I can touch 500 kilometers as well. So Tata's claim for this car to be doing about 437 kilometers as per the ARAI cycle is pretty much feasible. Now, the comfort levels have increased tremendously. The interiors feel very, very cushy indeed. It's 47 degrees outside today. There was a yellow alert for heat wave in Delhi, and I'm cocooned inside with these ventilated seats, this very, very strong air conditioning system as well. And it's really, truly something which makes my drive more enjoyable and stress-free. Also, with about 1,700 charging stations across the country and the infrastructure of charging growing all over the country rapidly every month, the entire range anxiety situation that we all have been living with for the last few years has technically diminished. Now, at about 20 lakh rupees ex-showroom for this top of the line XZ Plus Lux variant with the 7.2 kilowatt an hour charger that the company provides, it is quite a steep price for it. But if you calculate the overall cost of ownership for the Nexon EV with this 40.5 kilowatt an hour battery pack, it's actually very feasible, and your return of investment of what you've paid as an extra over the petrol powered car comes back within 3 to 3.5 years if you drive for about 25,000 kilometers every single year. Now that's quite great, because Tata Motors is providing an 8-year warranty on the battery and the motor, which is quite brilliant. There is a lot of peace of mind in the ownership process, and the service costs are very, very cheap because there are no moving parts. Now, the best part is how comfortable this one feels over its petrol powered counterpart, because there is no noise, there is great amount of sound insulation, and with a better pedal feedback, there is no vibration even through the foot. So it's a great car for city commutes as well as long distance highway journeys. So should you buy it, should you consider it, or should you just shortlist it? Well, in my opinion, you should definitely buy it. This 400 plus kilometer range on the highway is a major selling point for the Tata Nexon EV, and with a widespread network of charging stations and Tata's service network, it is quite an enjoyable experience owning a Nexon EV. Well, if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Instagram handle, and press the bell icon to get updates on each and every video or update that I make on my social channels as well as my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Always wear your seatbelt and your helmets while you're riding. Goodbye. Take care.